So quick, looking on the left side and the right side, which one looks more complicated? That one. And it has this cosine of a plus b. So before we get started, the cosine of a plus b formula goes like this. First, take cosine of each one of those. And then whatever sign this is, put the opposite, minus. Now take sine of each one of those. Sine of A, sine of B. Okay, so that's the formula that we're going to be using. So the left-hand side is cosine of A plus B divided by sine of A, cosine of B. If you just watched podcast 41, I just wrote the word left for left-hand side right here instead of doing that. Sometimes I feel lazy and sometimes I don't. Right now, I'm going to go ahead and write out everything. Okay, so on the top, I'm just going to use this formula right here. Cosine of A, cosine of B, minus sine of A, sine of B. And for the bottom, just copy down this part. Sine of A, cosine of B. Now what? How do we turn this whole big mess right here into that? Well, the good news is this has subtract and that has subtract. But this has two things, and this really just has one big fraction. So then what we're going to do is we're going to break this into two fractions. So I was just trying to get a piece of scratch paper. So if you have something like 7/93 plus 4/93, and you're thinking, wait, he's not talking about trigonometry. Well, I am. Then, because you have a common denominator, you could rewrite that as 7 plus 4, however much that equals, over 93. So that's how you add two fractions. Usually we go this direction, but because it's an equal sign, you could also go this direction. So if you have one fraction that has a plus or a minus right here, then you can break that into two fractions as long as you keep the denominator the same. It has to have the common denominator. So that's what I'm going to do right here. I'm going to break this into two fractions. They have to have the common denominator, sine of A, cosine of B, sine of A, cosine of B, and then this one is the numerator for the first one, cosine of A, cosine of B, and then this one is sine of A, sine of B. And the next thing to do is look for any cancellation that's possible. If so, please use a red pen. Like right here, cosine of B and cosine of B cancel. And right here, sine of A and sine of A, they cancel. Red pen can now take a break. Then this one says cosine over sine. I remember that sine over cosine is tangent, so cosine over sine must be cotangent. So this is cotangent of A minus. And then this one is sine over cosine, which is tangent. So this is going to be tangent of B. And are we close to the answer? Well, in fact, that's exactly what the answer is supposed to be. So this one is done. The answer is 42.